It is time to make our confidence picks for week 2 of the National Football League season. Let's do it. And welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Wat2K99. Thank you as always for taking the time to watch these videos. So today we are going to do our picks for week 2 for every game in the NFL season. Just a reminder, we don't pick against the spread here. We pick winners. At least we attempt to, because we sure didn't do it last week. We only went 8-8 last week with 74 points. Again, we rate every game from 16 down to 1. 16 the game we have the most confidence in, and 1 the game we have the least confidence in, and you try to get as many points as possible. Well, it didn't go so well. The games I had the most, second most, and third most confidence in, I all got wrong. So week 1 was a challenge for us. I think we're going to have much better results for week 2. So the game I've got the most confidence in, the game I'm putting my 16 on, will be the Las Vegas Raiders against the Buffalo Bills. You know, Josh Allen, as turnover prone as he is going against a bad defense outside of Max Crosby. Here's the thing with Allen. He has the most turnovers in football since 2018. But since 2021, the Raiders defense has the fewest takeaways in all of the NFL with just 28. Plus, they had 10 penalties last week. I swear the Raiders are always near the top of the league at this. You got Jacoby Myers in concussion protocol. Devontae Adams is a little bit banged up. I think with the Bills coming off the loss they did to the New York Jets, this is about as good a matchup at home as they could realistically have. So give me the Bills, best bet. Number 15, it hurts my heart to do this, but I'm taking the New York Jets at the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm going with Dallas. Everything plays to the Cowboys' hand here. It's their home opener. We all know the Jets have lost Aaron Rodgers at this point, but more than that, they're coming off a very emotional week and a short week where they went from up to down to up again. And they did that against the 3-time defending AFC East champions. You know, never mind that you have Zach Wilson at quarterback, but I just am worried that the Jets completely emptied the tank on Monday, and they're just not going to have enough to give to beat a very, very good Dallas team. And by the way, that front seven, oh my gosh, they are dangerous. And we're going to get more into them on the game preview video. I plan on releasing that Saturday morning, so check for that. But I will say this. The Jets' offensive line allowed 14 pressures last week to Buffalo. So we know how quickly Zach likes to get out of the pocket. He's going to have to be ready to take on the likes of Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence and the like, because it is going to be scary facing a defense that pressured the Giants 60% of their pass attempts. So give me the Cowboys 15 points. Number 14, I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers at the LA Rams. The only thing that San Francisco didn't do well last week is they committed 11 penalties. Credit to the Rams. They pulled off an upset against Seattle that I never saw coming. It's not happening this week against the Niner team that is clicking and looks very poised to have a huge season. All right, give me the Niners. Number 13, I'm going to go with the New York Giants at the Arizona Cardinals. This is out of pure desperation. You know, the Giants have to go to San Francisco next week on the road on a short week. They need this game. The one thing that gives me a little bit of pause on this is that Jones was pressured as much as he was, 60% of the time. Andrew Thomas has a hamstring injury, their left tackle. But the Cards, they generated some pass rush against Washington. 6 sacks. You know, they got some good players on that defense, no way around it. But if you look at, another problem with the defense, they've allowed the 4th most passing touchdowns with 30 and the most passing yards, 4,383 since the start of the 2022 season. So they can make impact plays, but they give up a lot as well. And on offense, come on. Josh Dobbs averaging 4.4 yards per pass attempt is not going to win football games. Giants defense has a day, they win. Number 12, give me the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football at the Carolina Panthers with my number 12. The Panthers had 9 penalties last week for 65 yards. That's going to be unacceptable. 3 giveaways, that's also unacceptable. I don't expect that from a football team that's coached by Frank Reich. Now with the Saints, Trevor Penning, one thing to mention, he did struggle at left tackle, 2 sacks, 6 pressures allowed. I had some high hope for the Saints last year, but that left tackle could really, really hurt them. But I still like the passing game to do very well, especially without Carolina having their top cornerback in J.C. Horn, who is out injured. All right, number 11 is going to be the Thursday night game, the Vikings at the Eagles. I like the Eagles in Philadelphia and Lincoln Financial Field. Both teams not coming off their best performance, but Minnesota is going to take a big hit without Garrett Bradbury at center. Christian Darrisaw is supposed to go in this game, but he is definitely limited. And I just don't like Minnesota's run game for one thing. 14 carries for 34 yards against Tampa Bay. Ugh, that is bad. Plus 3 turnovers in the first half against Tampa Bay. Now, I know Philadelphia is missing Kenneth Gainwell, who got the most time at running back, but you still have Rashad Penny. You still have Boston Scott. You still have DeAndre Swift. And then without James Bradbury, they're probably going to play Josh Joby from Alabama at cornerback. So I'll tell you another thing about the Eagles. They attempted against New England only 3 passes over 20 yards. I look for that to change against one of the worst pass defenses in the league last year. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, this could be a big night for them. All right, number 10, I've got the Chargers at the Titans. I'm going with the L.A. Chargers of San Diego. You know, against Miami, the Chargers' D was as bad as the offense was good. But I do think they will generate a pass rush against the terrible Tennessee offensive line. And besides, Ryan Tannehill, I'm sorry, it's over for him. 3 picks last week against the Saints. I'm thinking a few more against the Chargers. Even with Austin Eckler nursing an injured ankle, the passing game will still do the job with Justin Herbert throwing to Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, Gerald Everett, and possibly Mike Williams if he actually plays for a change. All right, so I got the Chargers at 10. Number 9, the Washington Commissaries at the Denver Broncos. I want Denver in this game. Now, here's the thing with Denver. They did not play a very good game last week at all as they fell to the Raiders. Denver had 10 penalties last week. The biggest one, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty by Kareem Jackson with 2:54 left in the game. It would have gotten the defense off the field if it wasn't for that penalty. Instead, the Raiders run out the clock, claim victory. So, hey, maybe Nathaniel Hackett wasn't the only problem in Denver. Just saying. But I don't have confidence in this Washington offensive line. Last week, Sam Howell was sacked 6 times and pressured 6 other times. And it is important to note Chase Young did practice on Thursday. So he'll be there for the Washington defensive line. But again, it was against Arizona. I just like Denver a little bit more in this game, especially at home. All right, number 8, the Ravens at the Bengals, an AFC North showdown. I like the Bengals to take this one. The Ravens are just too beat up. Marcus Williams, Ronnie Stanley, J.K. Dobbins, all out for this game. Mark Andrews should be back at tight end, which will help. But you know what? I didn't like the Ravens' offensive line. They allowed 7 pressures to the new Houston defense. And I think Cincinnati's going to give Lamar Jackson some problems. And I just can't imagine that Cincinnati is going to have that bad a day on offense again as they did last week against Cleveland. I just can't see it happening. Give me Cincy with my 8. Number 7, I'm going to stay with an interdivisional matchup. The Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football. You know, the Dolphins' defense, nobody wants to talk about the defense, but they allowed 234 rushing yards against the Chargers last week, almost 6 yards a carry. If I'm Ramondre Stevenson, I'm salivating for this matchup. But Tua is 4-0 lifetime against New England, and while I think it'll be close, I don't think New England is going to be able to stay with the Miami offense, and I think it's going to be Miami going down the field for a decisive drive in a close game, but I think they'll do enough to win in Foxborough. My 6th game, okay, the Browns at the Steelers, so the AFC Norths all playing each other in Week 2. Well, I'm going to take Cleveland in this game. You know, last week the Steelers ran the ball just 10 times. They were down from the beginning. Matt Canada, their offensive coordinator, cannot allow that to happen again. Now, Deontay Johnson, wide receiver, is out for Pittsburgh. That's one less weapon for Kenny Pickett. Cam Hayward, their defensive tackle, is out 8 weeks after groin surgery. Literally a huge blow to the Pittsburgh D. And again, I just think Cleveland has one of the top 10 rosters in football right now from top to bottom. I think they go to Pittsburgh and win this game. Number 5, I got the Chiefs at the Jaguars. We got a playoff rematch going on here. Brandon Scherf is supposedly hurt for Jacksonville. color me surprised. That could play right into Chris Jones's hand, who is coming back from his contract holdout. It is a tough road spot to go down to Jacksonville, but I like that they've had over a week to stew on everything. And let's see. I think Kansas City's going to use Rashee Rice quite a bit at wide receiver, and we'll see if Travis Kelce's coming back. Last I've heard, he's limited in practice, but I think Kansas City pulls this game out. All right, give me the Chiefs at 5. My number 4 game is going to be the Green Bay Packers at the Atlanta Falcons. I have kind of struggled with this one a little bit. I'm going with the Packers in it. And I just don't trust the Atlanta offense, especially throwing the football. Last week, Kyle Pitts had 3 targets. Drake London had just 1. Desmond Ridder threw only 18 passes. Now, Green Bay, here's the thing. They may be missing both Christian Watson and Aaron Jones on offense. And the Falcons do have a very good running game with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. But I'll tell you what, I like Green Bay's defense more than any other unit in this game. Last week against the Bears, okay, Green Bay got 4 sacks, 7 tackles for a loss, an interception that Quay Walker returned for a touchdown, and 6 defended passes. I think Green Bay's defense makes the difference, and they beat Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Number 3. All right, 3 games left. The Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. In this game, I'm not as confident in the Lions as some other people are. I'm going to pick them in this game, but I don't like that they've had 10 days to read their press clippings about what a great team they are, that they beat the Super Bowl champions. They're a shoo-in to win the NFC North. And they beat a Kansas City team, by the way, that didn't have his best receiving weapon, didn't have its best defensive player, dropped every other pass that Patrick Mahomes threw their way. The wide receivers couldn't catch a cold. And with Detroit, how can Jahmyr Gibbs get only 19 snaps week 1? That's got to change, all right? But here's the thing. Seattle's pass defense had a bad week 1. I think Jared Goff will be able to throw the ball enough. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to say the Lions win it maybe with a late field goal, something like that. All right, number 2, the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. I like the Texans at home here. We got 2 rookie quarterbacks facing off for the first of probably very many times. In week 1, Houston attempted 48 passes and only 23 runs. They got to change that up. You can't be the Texans and give the ball to Dameon Pierce a mere 11 times. That's just not going to work. And it may not be easy running him against DeForest Buckner at the middle of that line. But on the other hand, look at Indianapolis's running game. My gosh, 16 carries for 25 yards. So I think this one's definitely a toss-up, but I'll go with Houston at home. And plus, I really like their pass rush against Baltimore. It really did impress me, and I think it's going to mess with Anthony Richardson. And finally, the game I got the least confidence in, the number 1 game, the Chicago Bears at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was amazed how bad Chicago was playing Green Bay at home. Justin Fields averaged 4.6 yards per pass. I think they need to start throwing downfield a little bit more to DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney. It sounds a little bit like what Zach Wilson maybe should do when he isn't facing too much of a pass rush, rather than throw these little 3-yard dink and dunk passes. I don't know, but the way that the Bears were playing, it was not conducive to winning football games. I know that. Now, the Buccaneers had 33 runs for 73 yards against Minnesota. Absolutely putrid, but I think they're going to have a better week at home. I think Rachaad White has a good game. Baker Mayfield has a good game, and I like that Tampa Bay defense still, even though Todd Bowles is the head coach. So with the least amount of confidence, I'm going to take Tampa Bay at home. Well, those are my picks for week 2 in the National Football League. Let me know what you think. Put down your picks there in the comments. Do you have any upset specials? Any games that you feel really confident or not confident in? I look forward to seeing your feedback. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.